All right, guys, I've got Mara Glazer here, who has absolutely been crushing it for, 7 weeks now since we started actually running traffic?
Yeah, we started traffic almost 7 weeks ago. Yeah, or almost 8 weeks ago.
And I've known you for years, good history, and we connected again because you saw I've been doing e-commerce for a while now, and you had tried actually e-commerce, originally Amazon, and then I didn't know this, but you had been giving it a good go with Shopify for the past, 6 to 12 months?
Working with you was my fourth attempt in getting this business to work for me. My first attempt was with Amazon, and I wasn't able to achieve profit at all with that. I was making high revenues, but I was losing money every month. And then my second attempt was with high ticket drop shipping, and there was a lot of challenges that I faced with that as well, especially around getting suppliers who would allow us to sell their stuff. And I also tried doing what we're doing as well. On my third attempt was losing money also, was not profitable there too. Saw you were doing this and I called you and hired you to teach me how.
Once again, the number she's about to share is not typical. I would not guarantee this to anyone. She found a killer product. How much have you made sales-wise, not profit, but sales-wise in the 7 weeks?
Over $550,000 in sales, in gross sales.
And profit at this point, we're looking at least 10%?
Yeah, at least 10%.
So just so everyone's aware, you're not going to pocket $250,000 making $500,000. If anyone tells you that, they're BSing you through their teeth. What were the differences between you trying first Amazon and then working with someone to teach you high ticket and then trying a similar approach, between all those attempts, losing a lot of money and just not getting into a good rhythm with a good product versus what we accomplished in 7 weeks?
There's a couple differences. So one of the big differences is that in this scenario and how you've showed me how to set this business up, I own the store and I own the sales process and I own the list. Whereas with Amazon, they owned all of that. And I was having a lot of challenges with getting shut down a lot and dealing with a lot of their rules and things like that were a big challenge for me. And I also wasn't able to create these upsell funnels that you've showed us how to create in our current store. So we were just selling one item, maybe two if we were lucky. And now, some of our orders have 6, 7, 8 items on them. And our average order value is really healthy because of these funnels that you showed us how to create on the back end. So that it's definitely one of the differences. I would say another difference is that I've worked with 3 other mentors, coaches. I never really know what to call it.
Not a guru.
Not a guru. And none of them were as invested in my success and cared about my success as you have. As for everyone who's watching, I can't tell you how many times I would get a text from you, John, just saying, hey, I just logged into your Facebook account, checked your numbers. You might want to do this or look at this, or it's going really good. I've never had that from anybody else. And there's a standard of care and excellence and responsibility that you take on that I don't see any other mentors doing. And I think that's really, really important. And I've told you this, I'll tell everyone else this, I wouldn't have been able to do the $550,000 in sales in 7-8 weeks if it wasn't for you showing us how. There's just no way. Hand to heart, honest to God, truth. Right. And I understand online marketing and online business. I've had online businesses for 10 years. I wouldn't have been able to figure this out this quick. Those were the big differences. There's probably more, but those were the 2 big ones.
How complicated was our initial approach? Obviously, once we started scaling up to 20, 30K a day, it got a little hectic and changed every day. But just that initial run of a product and then your initial scaling 5 to 10K a day, how simple was the process itself?
Once you understand the process, it is very simple. I would also say it's not easy. You do have to put in the work, right? So all the steps are simple. They all make sense. Once you understand them, you're oh, this makes sense. And they don't really change that much. So that part is really great, but it does take putting the work in to do it, but it's totally worth it. I wouldn't do this business if you didn't want to work. And if you were willing to create a really great thing, like you have, and I have, and other people in the group have, it will be really great for you. The process is simple. Just when we first started, you gave me access to the course first, and I went through some of the modules before we got going, and I was like, oh, this makes so much sense. There's no wonder I have been struggling with this for so long. Because we weren't doing these things, you know?
Would you agree that the course material is good, the game plan, the recipe works, but the value is in just the feedback, the support, the communication? Like, it's not so much about like this algorithmic hack that magically makes a money machine.
So the course will give you the basics, is how I look at it. And the basics were good for me for a very short period of time until I started making really good money. And then I was like really grateful that I had hired you for the coaching, because I needed more than the basic. Like, I needed you to sit down with me and look at my Facebook ad account a lot and tell me what I was doing right, what I was doing wrong, what I needed to change, that I don't think you can even put in a course, because there's so many possible scenarios. So you'll get some of those scenarios in the course, and you guys do a really great job in the course. Like, the course to me was the most comprehensive course I've ever taken, and I've done a lot of them. So I think the course is phenomenal and great. And if you really want to scale a business like this and have a really great business like this and do the revenues that I did, I think that the coaching is absolutely mandatory, because you're going to find yourself in situations that you just don't know how to handle. And it's not just the ads, right? It's like fulfillment issues. So I started this business during COVID-19. There's a lot of shipping issues, especially from China, and I've never handled that before. So I don't know how to handle that. I've relied on you to help me with that. And then, you know, there's like customer support stuff where, you know, we've handled customer support, but never for drop shipping before. So needed help with that. And there's just so many little things that you find yourself with a problem. And like I said to you today, before we got on the Zoom call, or at the beginning, I was like, are you ready to do some problem solving? Because you need that person who's done this already to help you solve these problems that you've never solved before. And then eventually you start to get like used to solving them, but without having that person to help you when you're first starting, you're just kind of like doing it blind. And I probably would have really messed up a lot of things had I not had you to lean on for that.
It just saves you the time and money, pretty much it.
Time and saves you money. In fact, like, you could say it saves you time and money, and that's 100% true, but I made a lot of money because of the investment that I made in working with you. So not only did I save a lot of time and money, but it was a great investment for me, and it has paid off many times. In fact, I re-upped with you, and when you were like, Mary, your contract or whatever is up, what do you want to do? I was like, I am the happiest that I've ever been to hand somebody money. I said that to you, right? Because we really thrived with this thing. And it's not really just the money. Like, it's really fun for me. I'm super excited about it. I feel like I was kind of lost my creativity in my business that I was doing prior to this. And this has allowed for me to find my creativity again, take on new problem solving challenges, which I really love to do, build out a team, which is really something that I love. So like, I love leading a team. So now I have a team. We're about to hire somebody else. I'm like even afraid to tell you that because we keep hiring people, but like, we're about to be a team of 10. I love that. I love being a leader in that way. This business hasn't just allowed for us to make good money. Like, it's really allowed for me to do something I'm really enjoying and really loving, and I'm really excited about growing. And I have a really exciting vision for what I want this to look like, and now what I want my life to look like because of it, which I didn't have 7-8 weeks ago.
Super cool. What would you say to someone that maybe is thinking about getting into dropshipping or has been in dropshipping and just they're inconsistent, they're not finding consistent success, or just in e-commerce in general and just wants to grow? What would you say to that person?
Don't give up, right? Like, had I had given up after the third time that it was a failure for me and just decided I wasn't going to do this anymore and not called you that day, I wouldn't have had this success. So that's the first thing. Don't give up. The second thing would be find the right person to teach you how to do this business. I had the wrong mentors and guides the first 3 times. Legitimately, we're doing everything we were being instructed to do, and I would take ownership and accountability if we weren't. For me, once I talked to you and hired you to help, I felt like I finally had the right person to guide me through this. So find that right person. Of course, I wouldn't be filming this testimonial if I didn't believe it was John. So if you are thinking about working with John, I would say get on a call with him, have the conversation with him, figure out how to make it work. If you're not sure about the finances behind it, like just figure out how to find the money to make it work, because in 7-8 weeks, your whole life could look completely different in the most exciting way if you just take that one leap of faith, regardless of how scary it is. To be honest with you, it was a little scary for me to invest in you again, not because I didn't trust in you and not because I didn't trust in myself, but because I had already put so much money into these other people, to help me, and had lost a lot. And I didn't want to be the fool who had done that again. But I'm glad that I did and I wasn't a fool. Made a smart choice this time. Get ready, because when you hit a product that takes off, it's going to take off and it's going to be a wild ride.
For some people, that doesn't happen for 20, 30, 40, 50 products. It's a reality. Like if you're watching a video like this that someone else did on their YouTube channel or on their like sales page or whatever, you're going to see these like miraculous overnight success stories. I think it's very important that we point out, yes, you hit it big, but also that is not typical. You lose some money the first couple of weeks, maybe the first couple of months, even with the right guidance. I think your story is really cool because you followed the guidance that you had chosen, right? 2 times specifically with Shopify in this space that we work in. They were giving you positive feedback, but it actually wasn't working. But then I think you saw the difference, not just in the results, but the process and what actually does work once we started working together. I think like the transparency is very lacking in e-commerce and Shopify and this space we're in. So I just want to make sure everyone watching that I'm super transparent with that.
Yeah, that's actually something I really appreciated about our conversation that we had together when I first called you about this, was you had said to me, it is very likely that you would maybe not have a winning product in our first 30 days together. And that actually made me trust working with you more. Like you said, we've known each other. It's like been 10 years or something that we've known each other. So we had that layer of trust already, but that made me trust you even more, because I feel like in the past, I've been promised so much by these other people that I've hired to try to help me start this business, where they were like, oh yeah, this is easy. You'll make all this money in this short period of time, right? And it never happened that way for me or the other students that I became friends with in the program. I really appreciated that. I just felt like you were real with me about how long it could take, about what's involved. I mean, you even said to me when we first started, you said, how much time do you have to put into this every day? Because I've had other people I've talked to who are like, oh yeah, you can do this in 30 minutes a day, an hour a day. It's not true. I really appreciated that you were just honest and real about it. Not only have I've had great success with it, like I've gotten to know some of the other people in the program. Their stores are taking off also. There's one guy in the group like I've become friendly with. We WhatsApp and we help each other, and his store, he just hit like $77,000 in sales with one item. It's really cool to see everybody just like figuring this out, doing really well together, problem solving together. I really look forward to our weekly group calls. Like typically in the past, I haven't looked forward to any of that. I'm like, oh, I have to get another call now. But like, I actually really like it because it's so helpful and everyone helps each other. We've got like a WhatsApp chat. We like help each other every day, all during the day. Part of the coaching is this experience with these other people, right? And there was one night where I really messed up. I actually deleted some of my ads by accident and I was freaking out. And because of the people John has brought into the group, this one guy got on the phone with me in the group at like 3 o'clock in the morning and helped me figure out how to get it back. Who does that? The coaching with John has been invaluable. And then the people he's brought in to his coaching group that you now also get to be a part of a community with are really high level and really great also. Now I feel like I'm just kind of talking, but I'm just like really excited about the whole thing.
I think that because I learned from someone, just like everyone typically has, first group I was learning through and from, there wasn't really that sense of community and feedback and trust. And we actually created this massive WhatsApp group that I'm actually still part of years later. And it's been one of the most valuable things, if not the most valuable thing that came from that mastermind I signed up for. I think that's something really important. Like, I'm in all the free groups of e-commerce just so I stay in the loop and add value back in any way I can. And I'll also ask questions too, because I'm shipping changing every day, like with COVID and stuff. It's good to have those feedback systems. But I find that a lot of the culture in other Facebook groups, everyone's like, they're afraid of sharing stuff. They think everyone's trying to steal their stuff, which, I mean, there's definitely sharks out there in e-commerce. But I think that if you build good relationships, like, that's the most valuable thing, because you could learn from like a mentor, you could buy every course on the planet, but having someone that's actively doing it with you, which we also are active dropshippers. A lot of dropshippers cash out and go full coach, which things change every day. So you got to be current. And I think that that's something really exciting that I'm happy we can provide to you. And also, guys, for everyone listening, she is in our mastermind program. So for anyone that's in one of our entry programs, you won't be getting necessarily weekly calls from us or private coaching. She chose to invest in those programs too. I just want to be super transparent about it too. Meryl, thank you. This is awesome.
Just sign up for everything.
If it makes sense. No hard sales needed. Super excited to see what you do. Before we finish, I'm not going to ask you to tell everyone the product that you have been crushing it with, but how do we find it? This is my favorite part. Where did you start your product research?
So I went on AliExpress. I just started searching around for a couple hours while I was watching, I think, like Shark Tank on TV, and just started putting into a spreadsheet just items that caught my eye, items I thought were really cool. And I came up with like 60 or so items, just narrowed it down, and just had like a really good gut feeling about this item.
I had no idea how it was going to do, by the way. I was actually like, hey, let's try it. Looks cool.
Yeah. Here's what I think is really cool about this item. So I started this business during the pandemic, during COVID-19, when all the beaches are closed, all the public places are closed. The item I'm selling is actually a beach-related item, or like a pool-related item, or, you know, those types of activities that are all closed. And I've sold over $500,000 of it during a period of time when nobody's really would be using it even, which is absurd and amazing at the same time. I just think that anybody can really do this. If I was able to do that during a pandemic, if you've got the right guidance and the right steps, you can do this too. And you just got to take that like leap of faith in yourself and in finding someone to show you how. And my endorsement goes to John because of the help that he's given me and the results I've seen within myself and for myself, and also because of the results that I've seen for the other people in the group too, that I've become buddies with and I get excited about their success just as much as I get excited about mine.
I appreciate that. It means a lot to us. I know you come from the Dan Kennedy, Bill Glazier world, which anyone that's in the direct response copywriting, your family's a legend. You are too, yourself. It's cool for us to, help you in a new space and have a good experience too, which is the most important thing to us. And I would say, like, when we start working with someone, the first priority is you learn that you can repeat the skill set and do it again and again, and then you make money with it. And thankfully, we've done both with you. So appreciate your time, and I'm excited to see where you are in just a couple months.
Me too. Me too.